I think that Kim Jong Un probably has some weird sexual fetishes.
Oh, yeah.
Which mostly include probably watching and just wanking off himself.
And food, for sure.
And food. Yeah. Big foodie. What's the eating called?
Mukbang?
No. Mukbang.
Yeah, like a mukbang porno.
That comes from Kim Jong Un.
Yeah, it's a porno, and you just hear the sounds, and you think it's Kim Jong Un eating some girl's pussy, and then the camera zooms out, and it's just him eating an eggplant parmesan.
Slurping noodles.
Slurping it down. Test 1 2 1 2. Hello.
It's us.
Are you? You're blinking now. It looks like I'm screenshotting you every time you move.
Oh, I actually don't. It was doing something, but I don't know what it was doing.
Yeah, now it's gone.
So
now it's gone. It looked like the thing that people.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just wanted to do that.
It looked like there were eyelids over the camera, and people were doing the thing where they take mental images, so they fake close their eyes, and our camera just felt like doing that. But yeah, well, welcome back to Breaking Takes, everyone. We are in the midst of a laptop conundrum. My laptop charger just conked out today, so apologies if the video is lower quality. But, we're doing what we got to do. I'm recording from the rainforest in Panama.
Also, I want to point out, Zach, is your charger not brand new? You just got a new MacBook.
That's my point exactly, is I got my new laptop, which of course came with a new charger, and I have doubles of everything for podcasting whenever I travel. And I thought in my head, I just bought this charger. I don't need to buy another $80 charger from Apple because that's what they charge. So hopefully this will last for at least 2 months. And then a couple days ago, my charger randomly stops working, and then it was working for like a day and a half.
Oh my god!
And so I thought maybe it was just a glitch. And then this morning, nothing. It just conked out on me. So my laptop is on.
You gotta be kidding me!
Yeah, where Apple, you know what?
The price we pay for these products. And your charger, because those chargers are expensive. They run you like at least $80.
Not only are they expensive, but they change them every 8 months. So I can't even use my girlfriend's charger.
Yes.
I couldn't use my Airbnb host charger. We were sitting there with 3 different Mac chargers, all have MacBooks, and neither one of us could use each other's chargers. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to have to go to the Mac store in Panama. They didn't have it. Long story short, my brother just happened to be doing a road trip to Costa Rica the same time we were. He was looking at coming down that week because he's starting school the next week. And I ordered a charger to his place in New York. So he's going to bring it down in a few days. So worst comes to worst, I just, I'll go the weekend without a laptop, which doesn't really matter anyway.
Shout out to Dave.
Shout out Dave.
We love brother Dave. He's a new uncle, just like you are.
Yes. Yeah. Did we talk about that on the podcast yet? Did I?
Maybe, but yeah. So you have 2 brothers, and your older brother is, because you're the middle child, right?
Yes. My older brother.
I get middle child energy from you. That makes sense.
That's what I've been told. What do you? Because we had this discussion before, and I'll get to being an uncle and sort of what that's like from a remote standpoint, because actually I haven't seen my nephew in person yet. So I've been a remote, just some weird guy waving to him on the camera.
Yeah.
But what do you consider?
That baby has no idea who the fuck you are.
No, it just thinks I'm a piece of jello waving on a weird contraption. It just it has no idea. But we had a discussion before, this is probably like 5 months ago, about horse girl energy, and you told me what that was, but I want to know what middle child energy is to you. Oh, almost just knocked over the whole setup.
Oh fuck,
we're good though.
We would have been down for who knows how long.
Yeah.
Middle child energy. Well, I'm the youngest, and I definitely have the youngest child energy, but I middle child energy to me, I think is just they're the rogue character of the bunch.
Mm,
You know, they honestly, arguably, probably the coolest out of the, out of your, there's three of you, the three musketeers. That's what your family planned for.
yeah,
um, so
yeah,
yeah, you're probably the coolest. I think middle child energy is just that. Like they do their own thing because like, the eldest is always kind of the favorite, but also kind of like shadowing the most.
yeah.
And then the baby, like, for sure is the favorite, even if they say that's not true. It kinda
Mm,
is.
I agree.
And they get more of everything they want, the baby does. So the middle child just, like, always looked over,
The
left to its own devices,
the
does its own
yeah, the
thing.
middle child, at least to me, my own experiences, I got to still blame my older brother for a lot of things while
Nice.
getting to dominate my younger brother. So I could play
Yeah,
both roles where I'm like, oh, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to bike after midnight. I swear I was coming home by curfew. And my older brother told me that. And then at the same
yeah,
time, I can just choke my younger brother until he passes out and he, whatever we were, give me the mashed
nice.
potatoes, fucking give, and then I get to play the older dominatrix in that scenario, some weird fraternal dominatrix. So yeah, that was a good time.
Nice. Yeah, nice. Well, I'm glad that little brother Dave is coming down to save your technology troubles and you guys can be fun uncles together for a brief moment.
Yes, yeah, I became an uncle about a week and a half ago. I have not met my nephew Colin yet, but I'm looking forward to meeting him. And I know everyone says that
Colin.
Colin,
That's a good one. Colin is the newest star of Bridgerton. Did
really,
your sister-in-law is she a Bridgerton fan?
I don't know. I have to ask her because I do not watch Bridgerton. I do know the most recent season came out and it's been a while. So it is suspicious timing. It is suspicious timing that the last season came out 2 years
It
ago.
is.
But yeah, I'll have to ask her.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe she was watching Bridgerton and, she heard, is it English accents? I don't even know where Bridgerton takes place. It's kind of like Narnia to me.
Actually, no, it's like almost a transatlantic accent. I
Mm,
think it might have been set up in England, but they're like mostly American actors. I mean, it's like a weird accent. It is a totally different universe than real life for
mm,
the most part.
okay.
It's very, very, very loosely based off of some true stuff, but not really.
Yeah, because I was going to say everything that is spoken in a British accent to our American ears always sounds better. So if the show was in British, I could see someone being named Colin, Colin, and then
Yeah, well, that's how
yeah,
it is in this show because they do have it's not I don't consider it a British accent, but because it's so old school, it's a different accent than what we would be used to today.
yeah. So if my brother's girlfriend heard Colin, come grab me a spot of tea, and then in her head she goes, ah, Colin, then I could see how she would do that. But then it's a completely different name in an American accent, Colin. But I do like it. It's a solid name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's better than some of the names we've heard out there and it actually ties into a story or our Reddit thread that we'll get into later in the show, but
Oh, I'm excited.
um
I'm excited. I
I
do
can't wait for that.
I
Yeah,
I
definitely.
I do have a quick lead in to the first story based on an experience that I had yesterday that could end up being a podcast episode if we want it to be.
All right.
So
Go for it.
I went on a hike with my girlfriend and it was in Boquete, where we are right now in Panama, and the name of the hike is called Pianista. And none of us knew this during the hike, but apparently 10 years ago, two girls went missing on this trail, and it's still a murder mystery to this day, to the point where
Oh my
there are
gosh.
dozens of podcasts about it. People have written books.
Wow.
People wrote books about this murder mystery. It's called El Pianista
What?
Trail. I'm so glad that I didn't know this before we did the hike, because it is a very cloudy, smoky rainforest trail. The whole mystique of it is that you hike up into the mountains so far that you are in the clouds. And so the rainforest, you get the feeling of walking up the mountains and up the rainforest into the clouds, which is a perfect place to murder someone, in my opinion. If I was going to murder someone, it would be
Yeah.
on this trail. Now,
Low vision.
exactly. There's multiple theories. A lot of people think that they just went missing and they got lost. But if you look up the Pianista murder trail mystery, we went through the whole Wikipedia last night at dinner, and
I'm about to do the same thing later today. You just set me up. I'm about to have the time of my life going down this rabbit hole later.
Yeah. So just as a teaser for this, and maybe we could do an episode on it down the road, the phones of the two girls and the bag and all this cash was perfectly recovered. But then there are photos found on the phones and attempted calls. And there's also people, or it could be the girls, it could be someone else, turning on the phone and not knowing the password. So there's a lot of things that could point to the murder, could point to just they got lost in the trail. I will say the actual trail seems like it would be really hard to get lost because it's really well marked. We didn't go into the place where these girls got lost, but we went close, and it would be hard to believe that two people just got lost and died, and one of them couldn't have made it back to a
To
farm or
be
back to
fair though,
civilization.
Zach, I had just read a story recently where some girl got lost like on a Hawaiian island, but that's kind of impossible. She literally was lost and had to get rescued like days later. She was like on the brink of starvation. And it's like that's not even possible because the island, you could walk across the island
So
like in one day
she just kept walking in a really small
in a
circle,
circle.
like the radius of her
Yes. So
search
that's
area.
why, like, for real, like, you would think that it's like impossible to get lost some places, but people do get lost.
Yeah,
So,
she heard cars and voices of people like, yeah, I'll take another beer. And she's like, oh, those are just voices in my head. I must be imagining.
I'm hallucinating.
I must be imagining the resort right in front of my face. This is crazy. But yeah, I guess anything's possible. You could get lost, especially at night in the trail. But during the day, and also you basically start at a restaurant. Like the trails, it seems like you're in the middle of nowhere for a lot of it, but you're walking in and out of farms. So there's a lot of fences that say private property and farm and all this stuff. So if you wanted to, at any point during the hike yesterday, I could have ran to a farm in 5 minutes. So it didn't seem like it would be that big of a deal, but who knows? I mean, we can look more into it and present our theories at some point.
Yeah. All right. I would love to.
So yeah, there's a direction for me to get into my first story. I don't know if there's a tangent that stuck out from two girls possibly being murdered that connects to your story, but I can make it work either way.
That's yeah, not a connection. But I do have a story.
Yes. Perfect.
I did come to the show prepared to speak about something.
That, and you were much better prepared than those two girls were, likely, that got murdered, possibly. So that's a perfect transition.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? We're going to hope that there wasn't violence. Maybe they just got lost. Maybe they're living a whole new life somewhere else. And there's another guy, very famous guy that we know. His name is Kim Jong Un.
Yeah.
And he is taking a new twist with things. And he, I think, is trying to demonstrate a lack of violence. So, North Korea has a new and improved way of terrorism
Mm.
that hit the news yesterday. And I'm a big fan of this. I think it's really creative. So, this is from ABC News. The headline is North Korea sends balloons full of manure and trash over the border to South Korea.
Okay.
So essentially, they quite literally, and I thought, so when you read that headline, you think like, I don't know, I'm just thinking of a normal balloon, right?
Mm.
Like just a normal balloon you'd get at Chuck E. Cheese or some shit. And they kind of look like that. It's definitely not like a big hot air balloon. It's nothing like that. But it's bigger than your average balloon. Like
Mm.
these are industrial balloons.
So
They could probably lift a body.
does it look, because when I think of industrial balloons, I think of that image of the Chinese spy balloon that got shot down. You remember that big white one?
Wait, okay, this might be Chinese spy balloon. I gotta look that up because I think. Okay, so that was a bigger balloon,
Okay.
way bigger.
Was the Chinese
So
spy?
these balloons.
I was gonna say.
Go
I was gonna
ahead.
say, was the Chinese spy balloon just a misdirected North Korean shit balloon that wandered over America?
It could have,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't put it past Kimmy to have let China take the fall
Yeah.
for that. But so these balloons, they're like bigger than your average balloon. They're white. They're bigger than your average balloon. It looks like it's made out of the same material as a normal balloon. It's just like a way bigger size. It looks like the balloon is probably the size of like at least a 10-year-old child.
Okay. Well,
So it can hold a pretty good weight.
it's good to have something white that's known as the bigger one for once.
I know, right?
Balloons. Balloons, we gotta have something.
Only balloons.
Yeah.
I was shocked though. So I'm reading into the article. So I also was really curious. I was like, wow, what a new interesting form of terrorism. Like that's not very much like Kim Jong Un. So it turns out that it was actually his evil sister, Kim Yo Jong,
Really?
that set this whole thing up. And we've been keen to her. She's been like kind of on the radar for being like the evil sister that's like reportedly maybe worse than Kim Jong Un himself.
Yeah, I've heard her name. So it's interesting that this is a family affair then. So
Oh
the
yeah.
intel and the technique came from her. She suggested it.
Yes. She said that these filth balloons were sent by the people as a warning that it will happen again
Okay.
if South Korea does not mind their fucking business, basically. So South Korea had, I think, put some propaganda, like, around the border there, put some propaganda flyers, like, over on the North Korean side. And North Korea didn't like that very much. So they retaliated by literally gathering trash and shit and tying it to balloons and just casting them astray
Yeah.
to South America. And
To
I'm
South America
fascinated
or
by this.
South Korea?
South Korea.
I was like, damn.
Good catch.
I was like, damn.
I was like, these balloons are traveling so far.
Yeah, I was like, did North Korea and Brazil have beef I don't know about where they're just sending shit balloons?
Well, it was where my mind was at because a big question that I have is just like, how the fuck did they steer these balloons? Like when you tie a bag, and these are big trash bags, it's like a normal size bag of trash that are tied to these balloons. How are they just like, how do they know? There's got to be like shit floating around in the universe right now because there's no way they could just cast these balloons and know exactly. I mean, I guess they can track the wind, but how did they know exactly where they were going to go?
I would say number one, I imagine North Korea is familiar with the wind patterns over South Korea because they're always thinking about launching weapons and missiles. And so maybe they
Hmm.
just toss it up into the current and hope for the best. And maybe you get a few that blow back onto North Korean soldiers, but most of them explode in
Yeah.
South Korea. Or you just send the bags up, and then when they get far enough into South Korea, you have your North Korean snipers that are just fucking marking the shit bags out of the sky so they just fall down onto the people. That would be my guess.
It's like the newest. Yeah, no, I mean, I do believe they probably studied the wind pattern and knew which way they were going. And I love that she said that these filth balloons were sent by the people because we know that the people have like no free will in North Korea, but it is kind of true because it is probably their shit that's in these bags. So it's
Mm.
like, I guess technically that is kind of by the people.
Is it
If it's the people's poo
so?
that's floating.
It is human shit. It's not animal poop. It's
I I'm not sure. They said manure. I don't believe it. I think we got to test the fecal matter. It's undisclosed.
Yeah. I mean, you have to think though, if you're South Korea and you see unidentified weapons coming over the North Korea border, better poop than nukes. Because as soon as something goes over North Korea border, you probably
Oh
thinking
yeah.
missiles. For the South Korean military that's tracking it, they're probably making calls like they're 27 missiles just went up over the North Korean fence. What's the move here? And then it gets closer and shit starts falling out of the sky. That's got to be the biggest relief, like
Literally.
because if you get covered in shit 99 times out of 100, that's the worst part of your day. But if you're in South Korea, that's the best part of your day because it's like a celebration that you're still alive.
It's definitely psychological warfare that's being used here.
Yeah.
where where they actually are fearful of that and then it's like surprise, just a bag of trash
Yeah.
and a pile of shit on your head.
I think it's an interesting tactic though because Kim
I
Jong
think it works.
yeah, no doubt. I mean it's humiliating. It's kind of funny. And
Yeah, you can't hate that it is pretty funny. It's a creative, funny idea.
cuz with all the like Israel, Gaza, Ukraine, Russia with actual bodies and missiles and blood, guts, people dying, someone pelting shitbags at the enemy is a breath of fresh air, no pun intended. But
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
it's an interesting tactic because I know that one of the myths that Kim Jong Un spreads about himself is that he doesn't have to shit because his body is so efficient. He doesn't pee or
Oh
poop.
yeah.
So it's like, could South Korea turn this
Oh
around
yeah.
and be like, oh, we tested it. This shit is Kim Jong Un's because we have his DNA. And now we have proof that Kim Jong Un is not a god. He's a man just like everyone else. This is his shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely I would like to get to the bottom of it. I This is kind of like a biohazard. It's like chemical warfare to the smallest degree possible by
Yeah.
sending literal trash to another country.
Yeah. It's like I couldn't imagine being a North Korean nuclear engineer or a chemist and you're coming up through school thinking one day I'm going to get an assignment from Kim Jong Un and it's going to be so cool and we're going to, do some chemical warfare shit or, I'm going to build the next generation of nukes and Kim Jong Un calls you in and he's like, "All right, here's the play. I need you to figure out what material is best to hold human shit for 1 to 200 miles so we can get it to Seoul, South Korea." And you're just like, I know how to build nuclear weapons. Why am I here?
They're like that's our weapon. That is their air force is just these balloons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Balloon team 6.
Yeah. Yeah, Kim Jong Un's like, no, you don't understand. When the shit falls on the people, we're gonna be like, haha, got you. And the engineer's just like, I guess.
You don't listen, then you're not cut out for the job. Okay. You can't work for Kim Jong Un if you don't have a sense of humor
Yeah.
and a sense of style.
Yeah.
If that's one thing I've gotten from Kim Jong Un is you better look chic and you better be funny.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll die.
I mean,
But don't look as good as Kim Jong Un. Just second good, second best.
No, not at all. I was also thinking, if it is human shit, it's probably good for the North Koreans because that means Kim Jong Un would have to feed them enough in order to produce all the shit that he needs, because he's starving 11 million people. So if one day he's like, all right, I'm gonna feed you guys nice this week, and everyone's gonna send in their massive shits to North Korea headquarters, people will probably like, all right, at least or at least we're gonna eat this week. So if it is human, I hope it's human shit.
McDonald's for everybody.
Yeah.
Giving people like the worst IBS they could possibly have.
Exactly. Mickey D's mixed with Chipotle, mixed with extra hot sauce, mixed with all the Hennessy that Kim Jong Un drinks, apparently.
Oh, my.
Just,
Wow.
Yeah. He's the number one Hennessy purchaser in the world, apparently. So.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He gets fucked up.
That's crazy. Well, Kim Yo-jong, the sister, has warned that there will be more to come if South Korea doesn't stay in their lane. Don't do this again, she says, or they're probably already working on the next fleet of ship balloons and trash balloons to send out. So don't fuck with them. And apparently they also did this in 2016. So, which I don't remember hearing about, but I wasn't really, familiar with the Korean news back in 2016. So they're just saying like they're very experienced. This is a very serious operation. They will do it again. And I also want to know maybe like how far do we think this only works because it's South Korea, because it's not that far of a distance?
I don't.
But could they in theory send balloons all the way here?
If they did, I don't.
Well, all the way to New York.
All the way to New York. I mean, LA would be one thing. New York is a whole nother bag of shit. But
that's true. Yeah.
But I have to think that balloons have. I mean, even the best balloons in the world, I have to imagine they have like maybe 1,000 miles on that. Like the Chinese spy balloon didn't eventually. They had to shoot it down, but they couldn't control it. Like no one was controlling it at that point. It was just kind of waving around wherever the fuck it was going. So maybe you could make a balloon that lasts full of poo for a long time, but I don't know how long you'd be able to actually control the destination. Like you try to bomb New York with shit and you end up hitting Philly, and then you have a bunch of Eagles fans that are pissed at you, and then it's like, well, North Korea's done because no one's beating the Eagles fans.
I guess what you could do, though, is put them all in a helicopter and then fly the helicopter closer to your destination.
Yeah.
And then release them out the back of the chopper. Goes flying out all of your your balloons.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of beautiful when I envision it. I mean, it's pretty cinematic.
I'm imagining Christopher Nolan's soundtrack over it as all the bags are dropping. I'm imagining like a Mission Impossible scene where people are jumping out of the plane.
Tom Cruise is there.
Yeah, he's halo jumping alongside the shit to direct it if it's going off course.
Yeah.
There's guys in a circle holding hands, just like, look at all this shit we took. Finally. Falling hundreds of miles an hour to the ground with the shit. I'm just wondering, like, what's your move if you're if you're South Korea, what's your move?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say is like, I almost feel that this needs to be the global new way of warfare. We all need to it's almost like we hate on North Korea all the time for being evil, and that makes sense because they are pretty evil, at least Kim Jong Un and his family.
Yeah.
But here they are not really being violent at all.
Yeah.
And it's like we should all I feel inspired by them. What could South Korea do to retaliate? What is the next genius idea
So
like this?
so if I go back to the Kendrick and Drake beef, and I'm trying to think why most people say that Kendrick beat Drake, I think it's because Drake reacted too similarly to what Kendrick was doing to him. So Kendrick would take lines from Drake and he would change them enough to where it didn't look like a carbon copy retaliation. It was Kendrick's own attack. And so if you're South Korea, I don't think you can go back with shit or something shit adjacent. I think you need to come up with something that's also humiliating, but do it in a way that is your own, like your own creativity. And I don't know exactly what that is. Like it's tough to do because not many things are more humiliating than getting shit on, literally. Like pee, you could do
Yeah.
pee, but that's still not as good as shit. And that kind of looks like you're not creative.
Well, they should do, I remember here in, or at least, no, maybe it wasn't here. I remember there was a giant Trump balloon, like a float, like a parade float balloon
Mm,
at one point somewhere. I don't know if it was in America or if it was in Europe, but it was really comical and it was meant to make fun of him. And I think if they want to stick with the balloons, they need to just make like a giant Kim Jong Un balloon
yeah.
and just cast it like wait, and you can go crazy on the design. I want the design to be moderately offensive and comical.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the next step.
You got to find because you don't really want to embarrass the North Korean people because they're just along for the fucking dictatorship ride. They have zero autonomy like people in South Korea. So you really want to go after Kim Jong Un and his sister. So I would say you got to find something that Kim Jong Un is super insecure about, which won't be hard because he says them when he brags.
That's
He's
yeah.
like I am the best golfer in the world. I hit 18 holes in one. I don't shit. I got all these bitches. I just fuck whoever I want. Everyone sucks me off while I'm signing legislature, even though I don't have to because I'm a dictator anyway. I think if you could insinuate that Kim Jong Un had a micro penis or get
That's
something,
what I was
yeah,
thinking.
like
I was thinking
something
that.
to go after his manhood to like get through to the people of North Korea. Like they couldn't look at the portrait of Kim Jong Un in their houses without laughing ever again because they're just imagining him with a micro
Yes.
penis.
I agree. I agree. And it needs to, on the balloon, just it needs to be clear this is from South Korea. We are not trying to get the North Koreans injured. But I do think a giant floating cuz the Trump balloon, it was a baby Trump.
Mm,
It was baby Trump in a diaper and it was very hilarious. And so I'm thinking, yeah, send maybe baby Kim Jong or adult Kim Jong with a micro
with a
penis.
baby dick. Yeah. If
Yeah.
you got a bunch of like a parade, if North Korea was having a parade, which I imagine they have every other day for Kim Jong Un, if they could get someone on the
Yeah.
inside that could make a huge float with Kim Jong Un with just the tiniest baby dick going down Main Street of
Yes.
Pyongyang, North Korea, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if our people in Seoul are listening, we have ideas. I imagine they're cooking up a good idea right now.
Do you think I bet they are too. Do you think that so you said the sister, what was her name again? Kim Jong Un's sister?
Good
So
question.
who hey?
Hold on.
Hey so who?
um Ipe Mazuhara,
Ipe,
Shohei
yeah,
Ohtani,
yeah, Shohei Ohtani.
Kim Yo Jong.
Kim Yo Jong's close. Um, um, do you think that Kim Yo Jong, when she said, because you said she said something like, "This is just a taste of what's to come." Do you think she was sending a hidden message saying
Yes.
that the next thing we're gonna do is just send buckets full of cum or balloons full of cum over the people of South Korea? Like sending, because what if she is a true mastermind and she's giving clues to her next attack? And she's like, yeah, that's just what's to come. And she's just jerking off every live male she can find in North Korea.
I don't know if that many people could even get off in North Korea. It seems like a really cum scarce nation.
That's a good point. When you haven't eaten in 11 months, the last thing on your
I
mind
just
is usually
can't, I
sexual
just
arousal.
don't think, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think they could. I'm not only Kim Jong Un himself could. And I believe he probably can a lot. I don't know if he has sex. I think that Kim Jong Un probably has some weird sexual fetishes.
Oh, yeah.
Which mostly include probably watching and just wanking off himself.
And food, for sure.
And food. Yeah,
Yeah.
the big foodie. What's that? What's the eating called?
Oh,
The
not ASMR. Mukbang,
no,
mukbang.
mukbang.
Yeah, like a mukbang
Yeah,
porno.
that comes from Kim Jong Un.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's a porno, and you just hear the sounds, and you think it's Kim Jong Un eating some girl's pussy, and then the camera zooms out, and it's just him eating an eggplant parmesan,
Slurping noodles.
slurping it down. Yeah, I hope whatever the response is, I hope we get more of those videos. I don't know if you remember, but when North Korea launched a nuke, an intercontinental ballistic missile, as a warning to the rest of the world, Kim Jong Un put out a Top Gun style intimidation video where he was just walking around wearing aviators, just looking cool. There were missiles going off behind him in the background. They edited it like a cheesy Top Gun
Wow.
style. So I hope whatever this beef involves, that we get more Kim Jong Un Top Gun videos. We get
Yeah.
some sort of battle rap, because I know Kim Jong Un is a fan of
Oh,
Drake.
that would be
He's a
great.
fan of Drake, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if he tries his hand at the mic. That would be amazing.
Well, he got to be careful. He's on the losing side.
Yeah.
Team South Korea is working with Kendrick Lamar.
That's true. They already hired Kendrick as a writer just to prepare. Drake is just flown on a private jet to Pyongyang. What do you do if you're Drake and you get a call from Kim Jong Un's people and they're like, "We need you on a private jet to Pyongyang and Kim Jong Un's mansion. Everything's paid for. We'll give you $20 million for 2 days of writing. All you got to do is get on the jet."
You go. I mean, I think Drake would go.
I do too.
Isn't that the same with like Dennis Quaid was like, or wait, no, that's a
Dennis
different guy,
Rodman.
right?
Yeah.
That's the white guy from Parent Trap.
Yeah. They should make a Dennis Rodman version of Parent Trap.
My bad.
The Rookie,
Just
starring
a little mix up.
The Rookie, starring Dennis Rodman. The Day After Tomorrow, Dennis Rodman edition. But yeah, I hope that happens.
Yeah. But yeah, so Dennis Rodman's already over there. Drake's over there. We got Kendrick going to South Korea, and we're gonna have a whole battle rap on the border.
That's a good old time. I'm looking forward to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Me too. And we'll be here to report it.
yes, we will. That's what makes us professionals, is that if someone poos in a balloon, we're there to tell you how, when, and why it happened. It's like in social studies class in 3rd grade where they're like, who, what, where, when, why, how. Poop is our lingo.
That's us.
That is, we'll tell you who, what, where, why, and how the shit happened, literally. So,
literally.
speaking of shit, American Airlines.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw this, but
Oh no.
it's it's a brutal story in terms of what American Airlines tried to do. But speaking of shit, American Airlines blames a girl who's 9 years old for not noticing that she was being recorded by a flight attendant in the bathroom. So
Uh, excuse me?
yeah, that you heard that correct. American Airlines blamed a 9-year-old girl for not noticing that she was being recorded by a flight attendant who put a hidden camera in the bathroom of the plane.
Okay, and so how exactly are they blaming this child?
That is a great
Just for not
question.
knowing? Like, just for being
Oh,
dumb?
we'll
Like,
get into it because the legal team
they're blaming her for assuming privacy in
exact
the bathroom?
basically. So American Airlines legal team has blamed a 9-year-old girl for an incident in which one of its former employees filmed her while she was using an airplane bathroom. The airline is being sued by a Texas court after a now former flight attendant, Estes Carter Thompson III, not the second, the third, 37 years
It's
old,
very
very
important.
important, 37 years old, used a recording device to film girls between the ages of 7 and 14 years old using the American
Ugh.
Airlines bathroom for several months in 2023. After Mr. Thompson's arrest, the family of a 9-year-old victim sued the airline, alleging that the company should have known he was a danger to guests. On Monday, this is from the American Airlines lawyers. On Monday, a lawyer representing the American Airlines wrote in a filing that the little girl, 9-year-old girl, should have been aware that a device was recording her while she was using the bathroom. Quote, this is from the legal team directly. This is their defense. Quote, any injuries or illnesses alleged to have been sustained by the plaintiff, Mary Doe, the 9-year-old, were approximately caused by the plaintiff's own fault and negligence. Uh, when the plaintiff used the compromised lavatory, she should have known that the compromised lavatory contained a visible and illuminated recording device. So that's American Airlines' defense, is that it was hidden,
It
kind
was
of,
obvious,
but
is
the
basically.
hidden camera was obvious to this 9-year-old girl that was just trying to pee on a cross country flight. So yeah,
Okay, so I'm looking at articles and I'm seeing a photo of what I believe is the alleged setup. And I mean, so the photo, I mean, we all know what an airplane toilet looks like.
hmm
So it looks like a toilet, and then on the lid, like as if the lid is open, so on the inside of the lid, close to the back of the rim, it says the caption is an image of the phone allegedly used to record a 14-year-old North Carolina girl while she used the bathroom. So it is just kind of taped to the toilet lid, but it's not tape, it's like stickers. Because it's probably all you
yeah,
had on the airplane. It's just like stickers. So just
yeah,
covered up. And so, yeah, it does actually seem kind of obvious, but you go into a bathroom with assumed privacy.
yeah.
So,
That's the
and I'm
thing.
pretty sure on the bathroom probably says private bathroom.
And whenever I use an airplane bathroom, I'm so groggy and dehydrated, and I just if I'm taking a piss, I put my hand against the wall to try to combat the turbulence, and I'm just looking at the toilet bowl the whole time, trying to not get too
Yeah.
much outside of it. And then there could be
For
like a
girls, it's
fucking
literally the same.
yeah, there could be a full blown Sony Alpha camera recording right in front of me, and I would just be so like in and out, like my eyes
Yep.
barely open, like whatever. Like that must be a bathroom decoration, not a camera. And then I go back to my seat, and that's it. I
I'm also so I'm just curious though because obviously this guy is a pedophile. because he was targeting young girls. But how long was the phone there like the whole flight? I mean, it says that you said that he was targeting like young girls, but was he just cutting out footage of like people that went to the bathroom
It's
or was he just going in like every time a girl was getting up he's like, oh, let me go slap my phone in there?
I think it sounds like in the story, it doesn't say exactly how the device was planted, but it to me it just sounds like it was left in there the whole time, and then the guy, I assume after the flight, would just scan through and save the footage of this from him
I
7
don't
to
get
14 years
it.
old. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the most astonishing thing
Listen,
other
I
than
know people are fucked up.
yeah.
You can go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the most astonishing thing besides the actual pedophilia is the response of the American Airlines lawyers to come back and say, well, this
Yeah.
9-year-old girl should have known that this hidden recording device was recording her the entire time she was in the bathroom. I feel like you could survive a plane
Yeah.
crash. You could survive a plane crash and you're paralyzed with third-degree burns, and the airline lawyers would say, you should have known that plane was going down. You should have been able to look at that plane and go, yeah, that plane's not going to make it to my destination. It's your fault it crashed and you survived. You could have died like everyone else, but you had to survive, and so now we're not going to give you
Yeah.
any money. Airline lawyers are the fucking worst.
They definitely hired the worst lawyer. And I know a lot of defense lawyers, you know, they may they might not always believe in what they are doing
Yeah.
necessarily, but they try to find an angle that will work
Yeah, it's like a
for them.
game. It's like a game.
Yeah. So I get that, but this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. For a big company like American Airlines, this is insane.
But do you ever, I mean, as the lawyer for the airline, does it ever occur to you when you're at home with a bunch of files across your desk and your main objective is how to blame pedophilia on the child? You're like,
Yeah, right?
maybe I shouldn't represent this company.
They got lost
Yeah.
in trying to find an angle to come at. They got very, very lost
Yeah.
in that.
The the lawyer blamed it on the own fault. Their quote was the fault and negligence of the 9-year-old plaintiff. They should kidnap the American Airlines lawyer. Like the family of the 9-year-old girl should pay to
Yeah.
have the American Airlines lawyer kidnapped, and then the lawyer just wakes up in a Colombian jungle surrounded by the cartel, and they're like, "We're gonna fucking kill you, like you fucking piece of," and the lawyer's like, What happened? Like, how did I get here? And the cartel members are like, you should have known we were gonna chop you up due to your own negligence. It's your own fault, just like that 9-year-old girl. And the lawyer's like,
I'm ready to tie his
fair.
ass up to a balloon right now and send him to North Korea.
Yeah. Yeah, he's sentenced to a decade of just shitting in balloons for Kim Jong Un, and then they use his shit to send over the border. That's fair. That's a fair response.
I'm also, I know this is like not appropriate, but my mind is like super fucked up and our listeners should know that by now. But
As is mine.
when I just looked at that picture of the phone that I like described, it was really low to the toilet seat and I just am confused. I know people have weird fetishes, and I guess he's just trying to get a shot of her like genitalia, which is super fucked up. But I just like how pathetic is that? You barely even see anything in the bathroom. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like the way it was set up is first of all, I don't know. I we would have to take a poll with all ladies, but when I go to the bathroom, I turn around so my ass is facing the toilet seat and then pull my pants down. So you're not getting a shot of the front. You're
Yeah.
just seeing like my butt cheeks for maybe 2 seconds.
Yeah. And I was gonna
and then hearing my stream of pee.
exactly.
And that's it.
You're getting a quick flash of cheek as the blood
Yeah.
is sitting down into complete and total darkness. So it's like,
Exactly.
what is
So I'm like, was it worth it? Was the footage actually worth it? Now, I guess because he's a pedophile and interested in children. Now, I would say children are probably, the one demographic that might still go to the bathroom kind of weird, where they like, they might be wearing like kids' clothes and whatever overalls. I don't fucking know what kids wear.
Yeah.
And then, whatever. But I just think like most people are gonna go to the bathroom the way that I described. So
yeah.
I feel terrible for these girls and everybody else actually that was definitely violated by these videos.
I mean, I've definitely been in bathrooms where I walk in and someone has their pants all the way down peeing against the urinal. And I'm like, well, a lot of younger kids do that. They'll use the men's bathroom.
Yeah, okay. Well, exactly what I was thinking.
But I'm saying
kids do
there's
that
some instances where I look at someone, I'm like, dude, you're in middle school. What the fuck is going on?
Like, pull your pants up, bro. Yeah.
Usually there might be something special going on. Like you don't say anything because then you're like, oh yeah, like that kid. He's a special situation.
Yeah.
You can do that, but I guess if this guy's going after 7 to 14, if this guy's going after 7 to 14-year-olds, you might get some kids that are like, I'm going to pull my pants down to wash my hands because I'm 7. So maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly. I mean, I guess. And there's always the rare occurrence, and this is something that's specifically women or people that just like to wear women's clothing. I mean, to each their own. But the romper, are you familiar with the romper effect in the bathroom?
Is that the one where you have to unzip the whole thing or like pull it all down?
You're like totally fucking nude in the bathroom. Yeah.
I'm familiar.
That is really terrible. So I don't wear rompers. I've never worn a romper in my life, although I'm open to wearing a romper. But yeah, I hear a lot of girls, and my girlfriend in particular, and probably yours, I've heard stories where it's like they go to the bathroom and because it's pants and a shirt literally combined into one fabric, they have to actually be totally naked in the stall or in the bathroom, which is a nightmare for most American bathrooms because there's always like a crack in there. Now, it wouldn't matter for an airplane bathroom unless there's a pedophile with a camera in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So you think finally you're wearing your romper. You're like, finally, I can take this off in peace. Meanwhile, you got a camera filming your asshole.
Yeah,
as you're trying to go to the bathroom.
He sees a romper in the camera. He's like, "Yes, finally!" And then it's a 35-year-old man, and he's like,
"Full
no! nudity, hairy asshole."
You were so close.
Yeah, that just makes
so close.
That makes me wonder how many times I've been secretly recorded in the bathroom, and some pedophile has been like, "Oh, gross! There's hair on that asshole." Next one.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
Well,
a 28-year-old butt. That's gross.
That's too old. Ew.
Just him swiping, like him going through the phone on the plane just to like see who he got, and he's like, "Oh, gross. 27. Jesus Christ. That is disgusting."
That's so messed up, though. I feel terrible for these kids. Like, I mean, I don't know why, like, I hate pedophiles. I don't think that's crazy. That's a normal statement to say. It's just like,
I'm going to join you on that.
Exist.
I'm going to join you on that incredibly controversial stance. Fucking taking a stand against pedos.
That's right. I am. That's my campaign.
Yeah.
This fall.
Yeah.
2024. We hate pedophiles.
Yeah.
Because I don't get it. I don't want to get it. I can't even believe the audacity to have done this. And the worst part is, Zach, do you know how many times he's probably done this before?
Oh, he's
Like this,
probably
usually when they get caught, it's not the first time.
he's probably just been going around the service industry, like he's been a waiter,
Yeah.
he's been a flight attendant, he's been his dream job. He's probably been trying to get bathroom attendant in some children's
In some club
yeah,
or some
yeah,
shit. No, that's for
like
adults.
some
Yeah.
some
At
some like TikTok
Sky
12-year-old.
Zone.
Yeah, exactly. Like his dream thing is probably like to be a bathroom attendant at a YouTube kids event where it's like the most famous kids YouTubers, so everyone there is just like a famous 8-year-old, and he's just the guy handing out the soap in the bathroom that just secretly has
Yeah.
iPhones in 17 different stalls. That's his dream gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I yeah. Fuck this guy and his terrible he's a bad videographer too. He should have made that camera way more discreet
Yeah.
if that was his plan.
Yeah, yeah. He learns from his mistake, and you walk into the bathroom next time, you're like, this is the best lighting I've ever seen in an airplane bathroom. There's an
Yeah.
asshole light. This is crazy.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I am actually kind of on the topic of this is I don't know if this is just a woman thing, like things that women go through, but when I go to a hotel, I don't know why I'm crazy now. I've read too much, but I'm afraid of like, what is it? Like a double-sided mirror or
Yeah, yeah.
something like that, where it's like
One-way
I
mirror.
see a mirror,
Yeah.
but on the other side, sees through it.
Yeah.
I am so paranoid of them. Like, I'm always in there touching mirrors. And not that I don't even give a shit if anybody sees me naked. So I usually just tell myself, like, oh, I don't care because whatever. But I am kind of I don't know if that's just like a girl thing where we go wherever we are not safe
Yeah.
anywhere. And so we're constantly like, what fucking weirdo has installed a camera somewhere or put a fake mirror up or whatever
Yeah.
to see me naked.
That just shows the opposite of what guys and girls have had to deal with. Because every time I see a mirror, I'm just like, shit, my tricep looks fucking sick.
I look good.
Yeah, and you're like, I hope there's not a fucking sexual assaulter behind there.
Yeah, I hope there's not an old fucking man on the other side of this mirror staring at me right now.
Yeah, you're like, I hope I'm not gonna get raped by someone behind this mirror. And I'm like, damn, like my fucking my arms are looking just fucking good as shit. But yeah, one thing's for sure, I would say, based on the stories that we've covered in the last few weeks, the airline industry is an absolute shambles. I would say going back the last few months, because like first we talked about the door.
It's been, Zach, longer than that. We've been talking about this for like a year.
Yeah.
We've been talking about the downfall of airlines.
So there was the whole ripping into the side of the Alaskan Airlines flight where everyone was just acting like it was normal, just a door size hole. There was the Boeing whistleblowers saying that they're using shitty parts and that these planes shouldn't be in the sky, and then they get killed. And now we have the American Airlines lawyers defending pedophilia. So it's safe to say that the airline industry, as we know it, is in the downfall phase for sure. Like at this point, if I saw a pilot before a flight, like if I was going to the bathroom and I walked in on a pilot just chugging airplane bottles and doing lines of coke off the bathroom stall, I'd be like, this is the easiest
I'm
thing.
pretty sure I did a story about that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
that a pilot was like tried to fly a plane the next day after being up all night doing coke.
I think we did.
And a whole bunch of other drugs.
Exactly. Yeah. Like so there's drugs too. Like that's the least of the airline's problems. If there was someone pulling a Denzel, just ripping lines of coke before a flight, I'd be like, at least no one's filming my asshole, and at least the door is going to stay on the plane. I have a pilot that has a little bit of extra energy while we're in the sky. That's fine with me.
As long as the plane lands safely.
Yeah.
then I'm good. So, knock on wood, I've been good so far, but it is getting a little crazy out
Yeah.
there.
As long as most of the plane gets there and it's in the right
Yeah.
destination, that's
Yeah,
fine.
sit towards the back of the plane. That's what I heard. That's the part of the plane that's most likely to survive.
Mm, I'll keep that in mind. I
Yeah,
think,
which I know is hard because sitting in the front is a lot more pleasurable because you get to get off the plane faster.
yeah. I mean that's fine with me because nowadays the planes make you pay an extra $13 to choose a seat that's towards the front of the
Isn't
plane.
that the
So
worst?
I'm
Yeah,
like, why do I care if I'm sitting in 27C or 13C? I'm just gonna sit towards the back in the
I
aisle.
agree. I'm always like row 15
Yeah,
back
yeah,
because and you know what I love about Europe is that they open the fucking back door on the plane.
yes,
And so they have it like so too for our Americans out there that have never traveled really outside the country. When you go to other countries and for me most recently in Europe, first of all you get on the plane most often on the tarmac.
yeah,
So you're just out on the tarmac. There's no like tunnel taking you there. Um, but they open the back door too, and it makes everything go so much faster because then there are two separate lines, and they tell you based on where your seat is to line up at the front door or the back door, and
yeah.
everybody goes in and exits out one or the
I
other.
th-
And everything makes it's so much better. I don't know why we don't do
the
that.
first time that happened to me, I think I landed in Athens and I thought there was a problem that someone they were opening another door of the plane that we weren't allowed to go on or go out
Yeah.
so that security could take someone off or there was a medical emergency. And then it's like, oh no, we just don't treat you like absolute cattle and expect
Like a child.
400 people
Yeah.
to walk out the same door. We'll open up
Right?
multiple doors. So
And I don't know if in America it's because we deem like we want to be in immediate air conditioning. Like we don't want to even step outside for like 1 minute.
yeah.
You know, we want to just go from the AC plane to the AC tunnel into the airport. I don't know if it's for like what we call safety or luxury, but I would 100% take getting walking down the stairs of the plane and exiting faster that way than having to sit in my seat for an extra 15 minutes while everybody argues about getting their luggage and getting off one door of the plane.
I'll go further. I'll say if we could get off the plane as quickly as possible, I'll let someone fill my asshole. If a flight attendant said, "I'll give you a
Yeah.
secret door," and I'll give you a secret door to get off the plane
Yeah.
immediately, I just need a photo of your asshole. I'd be like, "Here you go." I'd take it. I'd bright for you. I'd turn on all the lights. I'd use
Agree.
flash to get off the plane immediately.
Agreed. Agree. I would actually do one better. I'll take natural light. I'll just open up my window by the window seat and take a natural light photo of my ass.
There you go. That's artistic too. That's good.
Yeah, I look best in natural light. So I want to look good in
Oh,
my asshole
oh,
photo.
you have to. You have to because you don't know where it's gonna go. You want to just
Exactly.
yeah,
It could be in a pile of trash in South Korea right now.
yeah,
It could be landing in someone's hand.
exactly.
Gracefully floating down from the balloon is a picture of my ass.
Yeah, and someone's like, "Is that Sam from Breaking Takes?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Um
Subscribe.
yes, subscribe. But yeah, so that's crazy and I'd say that guy's an asshole and also a pedophile. But are you ready for the Am I an Asshole segment?
Oh, I'm ready for the asshole.
All right. So here's the headline. Am I the asshole for rejecting the worst name ever for our offspring?
Hmm.
How do you feel? I guess it's that one's
That one's more vague.
yes. It's like to be determined is kind of the only way you can leave that.
Yeah, I would say it could go one way, which is it wasn't that bad of a name, but it also depends on how this person rejected it. So
Mhm.
we'll see. I'm interested.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so my husband, a 38-year-old male, and I, a 36-year-old female, are expecting our first child, a bouncing baby girl due in a few months. We were both over the moon when we found out the gender, but now things have gotten complicated. Oh my, did you hear the doorbell?
I did. I mean, maybe.
I'm in the middle of my spiel and the fucking doorbell rings.
Yeah, maybe it's TSA. They heard your offer to take a photo of your asshole, and they showed up at your apartment.
Yeah. I know what it is. Like they don't I'm literally I just can't believe it cuz I'm such a good reader. Oh my god. I got to go get
Go
it.
get it.
Somebody just pause. Pause this train wreck right now.
We'll see what happens. Sam is getting something. I'm gonna guess that it is an Amazon delivery for cat food to feed her cats. It could also be an AK-47. Maybe she's shopping for guns on the black market. Maybe some nice cutlery or a stress ball. I don't know. Sam's a very wild. She could be a wild card sometimes. Oh, what's going on?
I'm back. It was an Amazon package and I just had to do something I've never had to do before. Let me actually even look up. I know what I ordered. So this is a quick story, but I have a snail in my fish tank and he motors around this fucking tank. Like he motors around so crazily, so fast. You would never think a snail would be as fast as this snail is. But I originally had two, and one of them killed itself by going onto the filter.
What did you say to
No, I don't. So what actually had happened was, Zach, is that I caught them having sex. I'm not kidding you. I caught them having sex, snail sex, and I went, oh my God, now I'm going to have snail babies.
So you sex shamed the snail.
No babies at the moment. I actually didn't interrupt. Okay. I let it happen. Let it happen. I was thrilled to have maybe a baby or two. And then the next day, I caught it deceased. It had went onto my filter intake tube where water gets like sucked in from the tank. So it gets cleaned through the filter and then gets spit back out. So it had went onto the tube and its little body had gotten sucked in to the thing. And I was like traumatized. I felt so bad because I don't want that to happen to my other snail. I thought that it happened to my other snail just the other day. So I rushed to get these sponge covers for the tube. And that is what I believe got delivered. But then something else got delivered. And I had to sign for it. I've never had to sign for an Amazon package. It was like, oh, give me your name. And then I had to sign for it.
Okay.
For what? A $5 piece of sponge?
Could be a surprise, maybe. Maybe the girlfriend's up to something.
No. I'm the gift giver in this relationship.
Okay.
But anyways, let's get back to the story.
I had one thing on the snail suicide. I think
okay.
Snail suicide is even worse because the snail, with how slow it moves, has so much time to think on the way.
I'm telling you, Zach, suicide. They're not slow.
But it's
this shit's fast as fuck, boy.
But it's still got to slink over to the tube. Like, it's not like a person that's just picking up a gun and blowing their head off. You got to go, I want to kill myself, and then do the journey over to the tube the whole time being like, do I want to do this?
I agree. I was pretty devastated.
It sounds...
he tried to Finding Nemo his way out of my tank, basically.
Yeah.
So that was pretty rude.
Well, I mean, maybe it was pleasurable in the last moments. Maybe it felt like he was getting sucked off or something. Who knows? But
perhaps he was trying to finish the job, I guess. Maybe she couldn't get him off. And that's why there's still no eggs. There's no babies in the tank. So I think that's what happened. Like they just didn't hit it off. And then he said, I'm going to go kill myself.
That's what men have to do to get head in this world. They have to risk their goddamn lives to get some good head. That is the challenge of being a man.
Wow. Wow, rough life.
Yeah. Just looking in mirrors.
So that's a little bit about me, folks.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear it.
So back to the story.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just got to start from the top because I like to read and it fucked up my mojo. So my husband, a 38-year-old male, and I, a 36-year-old female, are expecting our first child, a bouncing baby girl. We were over the moon about the gender, but now we have reached a stalemate. So when we were talking about names, a boy name was immediately decided. Stuart Jr., which I'd like to stop right there because I hate that name.
Did you say stork or stort?
Stort, like the little mouse.
Oh, Stuart.
Stort Little.
Stuart Little, okay. So you said it like
Stuart.
Stuart.
Like, that's because that's how it's spelled. It's not, I don't like, so there's Stuart, which is Stewart, Stuart.
Yeah.
And then there's Stort, which is still the same name, but it's spelled Stuart. And that to me has a different pronunciation.
I think they're pronounced the same though. I think
Stuart. I think so,
I think
but
Stuart
like,
and Stuart are the same.
Properly.
I agree.
I don't give a fuck.
It's a weird. It doesn't sound like it's spelled if you use the UART.
I'm not pronouncing it Stuart.
The EU is definitely easier to sound out for sure. But so Stuart Jr. is the name they agreed on.
If they had a boy.
Okay, gotcha.
If they had a boy, yes. And I just want to pause though, because first of all, that's not a good name. So you should have rethought from the jump. Yeah. If it's spelled like the little white mouse, all I'm going to think about is Stuart Little every time.
I guess it's good though, because I've never heard of a poor person named Stuart. You know what I mean? Like if your name is Stuart, you're at least going to live your life middle class and above. Like it would be,
or because you'll get adopted and have a red convertible. You can drive around your human family's house.
Exactly. It would be rough to be a crackhead named Stuart, is what I'm saying. I think
that's where the name Stewie comes into place. Zach, Stewie is the poor version of Stuart.
Okay, so when the crack pipe happens, then when it comes into your life,
you become Stewie.
You start going by Stewie. That makes sense.
Yes. So they agreed on that name. No problem there. They said it's a classic name. Obviously, it's also the name of the dad. So it has a family meaning, which I also am not a fan of that. I think it's lazy when you name your child the same name as you. And I'm saying that as somebody who, my dad is Michael Sr. and my brother is Michael Jr. And it's like, you're not the Pope.
Yeah.
You're not the king. What is this? Who did you think you are that you needed to name your kid after you?
It's very royal, for sure. I don't like it. I'm not a fan either.
Yeah. But anyways, so they agree on that, but they could not agree on a girl name. So here's where it gets really good. My husband suggested the name Stuarta.
Shut the fuck up. That's not real. That's not real. This is a made up post.
No, you're not having a stroke.
Stuarta.
I could not help but laugh when I read that shit.
Is it Stuarta or Stuarta? I feel like you would do Stuarta.
To each their own.
Yeah.
It's all in the A, Zach. So apparently, by his logic, since Stuart ends in a T, we can just add an A to make it feminine. Yeah. I tried explaining why that doesn't work. How it sounds more like a furniture brand. Or for me, I think it sounds kind of like, like a bacterial infection. Like there's Giardia and then there's Stuarta.
Yeah.
Whichever one you get depends on which hemisphere.
Yeah, it's like, you got that Stuarta.
But he says he's adamant.
Yeah.
Yes, he says he's adamant because it honors him while giving our daughter a unique name. Now, I've suggested alternatives, feminine names that share a similar sound or meaning to Stuart, names he's mentioned liking in the past, or even just going back to the drawing board, but he's fixated on Stuarta.
Mm.
Now, I love my husband dearly and I understand wanting to honor family, but I can't imagine subjecting our daughter to a lifetime of awkward stares and endless questions about her unusual name. I also worry about potential bullying and the impact it could have on her self esteem. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to budge on Storta? Is there any compromise to be considered?
Well, I hope she called the police before she posted this on Reddit, because that would be the first thing I would do if I was with someone that suggested the name Stuarta. I just think I need to call
and the fact that
911.
he's riding or dying for this name. Yeah, you can't have this baby. You need to flee the country. You need to get this baby a new father.
I mean, to me, it has to be either the longest joke this guy thinks is.
That's what I'm like. Is he fucking with you? But I don't think he is.
It would be hard to. It's hard to see this as a serious thing, but if it isn't,
it's serious.
If it isn't, it's definitely like a long-term joke that only this guy thinks is funny, which I can identify with because I tell so many jokes my girlfriend doesn't think are funny, and I just keep thinking they're funny over the long term.
Yeah.
But let's say he's serious. if this is serious, you've got to move without telling him in the middle of the night. Like,
because why is he so obsessed though? Because she mentioned multiple times in this that he's really clearly stuck on the fact that this child is going to be named after him.
Yeah.
So and he's like, I'm not giving it up one way or another. That's a Stort or a Storta. Okay. And it's going to be named after me. So I don't like that part. This should have been discussed prior to producing offspring.
Yeah.
I think you should discuss baby names with your partner before the baby comes about.
Yeah.
And this is personal for me because your brother just had a baby. My brother and his wife are also about to have a baby. Literally any moment, any day, this baby could come out. And they might have a name in mind, but to my knowledge, nobody knows the name and they could not agree on a name.
Yeah.
And so now it's probably going to be Michaelina Junette.
Yeah. Patrika. Steva.
At least Mike, though, Mike, Michaela, there are actual feminine versions of the name Michael, and I know he's not going to name him or the baby that, so we don't have to worry about it, but it's just a point, maybe you should discuss baby names, not on the first date, somewhere in between first date and when the baby is literally about to come out.
Yeah.
Should maybe be discussed somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a tough one. I feel like, I mean, these parents don't even have to worry whether they want an abortion or not, because if this kid is named Stuarta, it will kill itself by the time it's 5. It will no longer be on this earth. In preschool, the first day where the teacher's like, Steven, Sam, Stuarta, boom. Hanging yourself in the bathroom. The kids are not going to stop laughing for 9 months straight. I couldn't imagine the terror of having that name on the first day of school where the teacher's doing roll call. And I don't even know, if I genuinely, I'm not even being funny right now. I don't even know if I could read that name with a straight face, because I would think it was a mistake. I would think the principal was fucking with me or something when it gave me the list of names.
Yeah. Must be a typo.
Yeah.
Now, also, since he seems hell-bent on also naming his future son Stuart Jr., so can you imagine it's Oh, what's your name? Stuarta. Oh, what's your dad's name? Stort.
Yeah.
What's your brother's name? Stort Jr.
Yeah.
Like the whole family's name is Stuart or Storta.
Yeah. This would be the first.
What's next? Stortina?
Yeah.
I mean, geez.
This would be the first time in history that someone transitions not to get to the gender that they identify with, but to escape a name, so they can go by Stuart instead of Stuarta.
Yeah. Yeah. This is like one of the most awful names I've ever heard of. And that says something because the names are getting more and more ridiculous, especially right now. Now, I think when you and I eventually have children, and just like your brother did, like it's going to go back to kind of more normal names.
Mm.
I think this is a phase where people are naming their kids like Braxton and whatever the fuck else. And Braxton's not even like that crazy. It was just the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah.
But I think that when we go to have children, like we'll get back on the kick of like naming them more normal names,
Yeah.
like just regular names.
Yeah. Everything goes in
But-
cycles. Like, I feel like did Gwyneth Paltrow name her kid Apple? Was that her? Am I thinking of?
Yeah, that was like one of the poster child for like crazy names. And the best part is that it's not even that crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, that's pretty crazy. Not for a celebrity, but like if you met someone and they told you, just imagine the guy who who rang your doorbell to deliver you the package had a name tag and it said Apple, and you're like, "Oh, you work for Apple also?"
Yeah,
and
you
he's
work
like,
at
"No,
Apple?
that's my name. My name is Apple." You'd be like, "All right, nice to see
Yeah.
you."
I don't hate Apple that much. And I mean, there's also the name Peach that I've heard. There's not a lot of fruits you can really do besides apple and peach.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think grape works. Banana. I don't think they work.
I mean, maybe gorgonzola, or that's a cheese. That's not a fruit.
Oh.
My brain just skipped a beat. What's a fruit like?
You're thinking of the charcuterie board.
Yeah, exactly. Salami, gorgonzola, provolone.
Mm.
What's a pineapple? Maybe you could name one kid apple and one kid pineapple.
I mean, crab apple.
Crab apple. Just
What's next?
apple pie.
Yeah.
I think
so, but it's still all better than Storta.
you should do an experiment.
That's the point.
You should change one of your snails' names to Stuarta and see how long it takes before they kill themselves too.
I'll do that next time I get a snail. Storta and Stort Jr.
Yeah.
We'll see which one lives the longest.
Yes, you're like Stuarta, and you see it slowly getting closer to the pipe, and you're like, I'm just kidding. That's not your actual name.
Yeah. Well, so that's all I got on the Reddit thread because when I read it, it just actually made me laugh. And I was actually working. Hope my boss doesn't hear this, but I was working and I was on camera for a meeting and it was a meeting that did not pertain to me really. So I wasn't paying that much attention and I read through it and I immediately started giggling on camera that I had to hide my face because as soon as I read, my husband suggested Storta. I could not stop laughing.
I mean, it is ridiculous. Imagine your boss is like, "What's so funny?" and you tell her, and
I would have said. I honestly would have said.
And she's just like, "What's funny about Stuarta? I named two of my daughters that Stuarta 1 and Stuarta 2."
Exactly.
I mean, that is wild. Like, I mean, there's no question if we're gonna answer the am I the asshole that this woman is not the asshole and the husband is a psychopath.
Yes. He is the asshole and a lot of other things. We're very concerned.
Yeah.
And I can only hope that, I mean, that was written a couple months ago. So Storta could be here, actually. We could be offending Storta. She could be on this earth.
I mean, the first
right now.
The first thing I'm going to do when we get off is to Google the name Stuarta and see if anyone comes up in the phone book or the white pages or whatever.
Oh, wait. So I did just Google it just as a joke, and there's says the feminine name should be Stortess.
Stuartess.
Not Storta.
Okay.
I like Stortina. I'm more of a Stortina girl myself.
Stuartessica. Stortantha. What else?
Stortizabel. Yeah, Stortantha.
I thought you were gonna say Stortism. My kid's Stortistic.
That's what the dad has.
My kid, yeah, he's Stortistic. Can't let go of the name.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well,
yeah. So yeah, that one took me out. So I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I hope my video looked decent to me the whole time, so I hope that comes off well to you guys once I download the file and everything.
Yeah, we'll see.
But we'll at least have decent audio. So apologies if the video is skippy or anything like that, where I'm working down a laptop, but we figured it out. And thank you guys for listening. And if you would like bonus episodes, please go to breakingtakes.supercast.com.
We just put another one.
Just put another one up.
That's, Breaking Takes.
That's 8 or 9 now, I believe. So there's like 15 or 16 hours of bonus episodes up there, one every month. You can also ask us questions that we'll answer for AMAs. And you get the ability to suggest topics for me and Sam to riff on, like, you know,
you also get the ability to name my future child.
Exactly. If it's Stuarta,
that comes with the subscription.
Exactly. If it's Stuarta, it's Stuarta. If you give us the money,
it is what it is.
We'll give you the child. That's the deal. I might even, if we get enough subscribers, I might even have a child just to name another one on Supercast.
Yeah.
I'll just keep popping them out.
We'll do what we got to do.
And then, of course, rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That's a huge help to get people to see the episodes, and it makes us appear higher in rankings so that when the future Stuarta is searching on Spotify to see if anyone else, has anyone recorded an episode about this naming incident with my parents, will pop up. Breaking Takes. She can listen to us make fun of her name. So thank you guys for listening, and that's it from me, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Yep. Looking forward to seeing you guys next time.
Peace.